Yo, what up, Toshi here. In today's video, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the gacha for, I get once more, almost said Rearmento White Shadow. The game today is Etheria Restart. We're going to be checking out the gacha. I'll be explaining everything I know about the gacha, and also giving some tips, some tricks, and some other disclaimers too if you do decide to partake in the gacha at this point in the game, because I know some of you are maybe progressing like me, and you are pulling more so than using your crystals to get more stamina. You can see I'm level 20. This is as far as I've gotten with just doing the daily stamina, using that the game has given and the stamina pots the game has given as well. I haven't used any gems yet to get stamina for my character. Anyways, let's hop into it. So, the summon button is going to lead us to a bunch of different banners. Now, I've actually already, alright, this is bugged. I've already pulled on the banners. I actually am not pulled on the current rate up banner, which is going to be not a limited banner. It says limited, but it's a limited time banner. This character right here is not a limited character. She's actually a character that is currently already in the game. If you look here, you can see Freya in the permanent summon banner. She's not a limited character. This banner is not going to feature any limited characters. As far as I'm concerned, there is no limited characters as of right now, even the Moonlight or Light Dark characters of the game. So you can safely skip banners if you want to try your luck at getting them on the permanent banner, which we'll talk about in just a second. But this banner here, you're guaranteed to get only this SSR once you reach the pity. The interesting thing about this banner versus the other banners is that the limited time banners don't have any ramping up pity, any soft pity. That's the easiest way of putting it. It has no soft pity. Cool, I just wanted to get that so badly. I've been farming the same domain for like 20 tries, and I just now got an epic of the attack set. I don't know why it took so long. This banner, the limited banners for the limited time banners for the rate up light dark character and the rate up RGB character will not have any soft pity. So you are going hard all the way to the 80 pull unless you get the character early with the 1% chance. But I wouldn't really rely on that 1% chance to snipe the on banner character. So most likely you're going to want to have 80 pulls to pull on the banner. If you don't have 80 pulls, then I really wouldn't suggest pulling on this banner, especially when we talk about the permanent banner in just a moment. But this banner will feature the rate up character and other 4-star characters that are also featured alongside the rate up, but you can lose your 4-star SR pity to a 4-star character that is not on the current banner for the pity. And one more thing to take into consideration is that the rates do remain the same like traditional. It is slightly higher though, the 9%, around that realm is like usually 6 to 9% for the 4-star SR characters. And you can get a 5-star on your 10th pull of that guaranteed 4-star character. Let's say that Freya's banner goes away and I spent 50 pulls on a banner. Your pity will be shared on the next limited time banner, right? For the next RGB character, whoever that may be, and it's only going to be the RGB character because this banner takes a completely different currency from this banner, which we'll talk about in just a second. So if I use 50 pulls on this banner, I don't get Freya, and I end up missing the character, the next banner character will have my shared 50 pity, and it will only take 30 more summons or even less if you get the character early to then get that next RGB character on that banner. If that makes sense. Now we have the light and dark banner. This banner is going to feature only light and dark characters. That means you cannot get any other element on this banner. And it's only going to be the rate up light dark character. Now this is going to be the banner that most people are going to be saving up for, just because you want to make sure that you guarantee that specific light and dark character that you are of course rolling for. Because unlike the RGB banner, these characters are actually a lot harder to obtain in the game. And one more thing to take into consideration is that the currency to then get these characters, you get very, very infrequently compared to the other currency. You probably could count on one hand how many pulls you have for the light and dark banner. You don't get very many pulls for this banner. However, the 1% rate up for this character is actually, or any other light dark characters, is pretty nice compared to industry standard. Like Epic 7 is like 0.625 for Honkai Star Rail Genshin Impact. The rate is like 0.65. 1% is slightly better. Honestly, a lot, but it's like double the percentage nearly of getting the rate up character. So you will maybe, not all the time, not often, but you will most definitely get it early in this game more often than not than you would in a game like Honkai Star Rail or a game like Epic 7 when it comes to the light and dark characters on the light and dark banner. And just like the RGB limited time banner, the pity for this banner is also shared to the next banner. So let's say you don't get right now Messiah, well, your pity will then be shared to the next banner. You can see your pity counters are inherited between the same summon types. So that means that the pity you use on this banner is exclusive to this banner and the next light dark character. So let's say the next light dark character is going to be Lily, which I pray to God it is Lily. Then I can use that pity I've already built up on Messiah's banner to then go towards the pity for Lily and then get Lily on the 80th pull. Or I get her earlier than that. It just depends on however RNG decides to treat me that day. There's no telling what the limited light and dark character is going to be for this banner. After this banner ends, we may not even have a light and dark character. It may just end up being another RGB. And then the pity will then stay. Like, it will stay on the banner, but it just won't show until the next light dark character shows up, if that makes sense. Now we have the targeted summon. Now this summon is going to be the pool banner that most people should not be rolling on anytime soon. So once you start your account, you should avoid this banner like the plague unless there is a character from this banner you really want. You can see here the character I really want is Tsukuyomi, but I can hold off on Tsukuyomi because maybe I get her from the permanent banner, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Now, on this banner, you can change the RGB 5-star you actually want on this banner. So let's say I don't want Tsukuyomi, instead I want Lingluo, who's honestly a pretty solid defensive option. I can confirm my selection, and then I can go ahead and start pulling on this banner. I'm here re-editing this part because I made a mistake. Don't roll for Lingluo. She was used as an example of who you can change your SSR character to on the guaranteed SSR summon. Don't go for Lingluo. You get her for free. That's it. All right. Bye-bye. However, let's say halfway through your pity, you decide to, I lucked out and I got, Lingluo from a free summon on the permanent banner. You can go back and change your wish to a different character. You're not locked in. You can see here, this can be changed anytime and won't affect the calculation for the guaranteed drop. So you can be 30 pulls in, not have gotten your SSR, and you won't be locked to that specific SSR. So if you luck out and pull that character earlier from a different banner, you can then, or maybe it's unlucky depending on the circumstances, you can then go back and change the banner to a different character. Like maybe I want Selence, who is also another solid defensive character, who is showing her grippers right now. Very solid character, very nice in the arena setting, just like Lingluo. In all honesty, you can't really go wrong with a lot of choices that is present in this game. Like Lilith is a very solid AoE cleave option, who I honestly want to add to my AoE cleave team. And then you have characters like Tsukuyomi, who was the one I had first, who advances the action of your teammate, which is extremely valuable in a game like this, where you are dependent on taking turns, especially not allowing your opponent to take more turns than you are, because they have more of a chance of not only getting less cooldowns, right? Because when you take turns, your cooldowns also cycle quicker, but also they're taking more turns, have more tempo over you, and either dealing more damage, throwing more debuffs, or healing more, sustaining better. The list can go on. But anyways, that is just Tsukuyomi. And maybe you don't want Tsukuyomi. Instead, you want other characters, like for instance, Bayanten, who is also another solid character, or Chloros, who is the character most people are using right now in the game. Tiamat, Rosa, the list can go on. Very solid DPS characters. It just depends on what you want. Very solid PvE DPS character, right? It just depends on what you want for your accounts. But you can change this at any point in time. If you get the character earlier from a different banner, or you don't want the character anymore and you change your mind, you see a tier list, and a character is in a higher position of the character that you already had on the banner. And this does use the same currency as the limited time RGB banner and the permanent banner. So it's advised to not even roll in this banner to begin with if you are starting out, because you can just use that currency on the permanent banner and get more characters from here, and have the chance of also getting a light dark character from this banner too. Now let's take a look at the probabilities of this banner. You can see that this banner has a 0.75% chance of getting an SSR of the RGB category. So this is pretty much in line with industry standards. Now if we go down, the 1% SSR summon accumulative chance is also additive with the 0.25 chance. The 0.75 is additive with the 0.25% chance of getting a light and dark character from this banner. Now we're going to talk about the honest best thing about this banner in just a moment. But long story short, the light and dark characters here can spook you like the RGB characters can also spook you. It's just a 0.25% chance of getting a light and dark character, and then you have a 1 in 6 chance to get one of the characters, that you are hoping for. Like in this case, I'm hoping for Lily. I have a 1 in 6 chance of getting Lily after hitting that 0.25% chance. So you can honestly don't even bother doing the math. It's very unrealistic. And the only chance you have is like you may never even get Lily. That's how low the chance is, right? Now, the honest, sweet thing about this banner is that if we take a look at the rules, so the pity, you have a guaranteed pity of an SSR at 80 pulls, which is awesome. Now you have soft pity ramping up after 50 pulls on the banner. So 50 pulls and then ramping up after that, you then have an increased chance of getting SSR after each consecutive pull. So normally I usually after 50 pulls, 55-ish, I decide to start doing single pulls to go ahead and just get my SSR character so that I personally don't overspin on the banner in case like there's an RGB for the limited time banner that I then want to save up for or try to roll, right? Or maybe I want to use the rest of the pulls later on for the targeted summon banner, right? You get a lot of these pulls, mind you, throughout the game. So it's not like if you use the pulls here and you use the 10 pull and you get the 5-star earlier in the 10 pull, like you get the 5-star within the first 2 pulls of the 10 pull. It's not like you waste pulls. You still get the pity to carry over, right? And then you also are just adding more pity to the banner, and you get a ton of pulls in the game. So it's not the end of the world. But if you are someone who likes to min-max their pulls, in my opinion, it's advisable to just start doing single pulls after you hit the 55 to 60 markish on the banner. And after that point, you'll start seeing the earlier 5 stars in the soft pity. Now, again, you could go further to 70 plus pulls and not get the 5-star. It can happen. I think hasn't happened to me. I'm not totally sure, but I've seen people on Reddit mention that they got in their 5-star SSR pull later on the banner, like later on than you would hope to have gotten the 5-star character. And you can of course still get the 5-star early. If you get the 5-star early, the pity will then reset, and you'll have to do another 60, 70 pulls on the banner, maybe even earlier than that. It just depends on how lucky you are as an individual. Now, the best thing about this banner, oh my gosh, it's so good, is that once you reach the pity for the SSR, you can luck out and get a light and dark character from that pity. The pity is shared amongst all of the characters in the game. You're just guaranteed to get one character. Doesn't matter if they're RGB or light and dark from the banner once you reach that pity. That is the best thing about this banner system, in my opinion. Like you hit pity, you can get a light and dark or RGB. It just gives you one of the characters from the banner. You have an equal chance of getting an RGB as much as you do as light and dark when you reach that pity. It is phenomenal. It is so good. It's so nice. I love it. That is honestly the saving grace for a lot of you that are hunting light and dark characters in this game, is that you have a fair chance of getting them once you reach the pity. But there is a ton of characters in the game already, and there will be a ton of more characters added to the game. So the chances of you getting that character you want from this banner is only going to get lower and lower and lower as time goes on when you reach that pity. But maybe somewhere later down the line, they add a quality of life to the banner, and they allow you to select your specific character from the banner that you want to obtain. But who knows what happens later down the line with this game. We've only been, 2-3 days in the game anyways. Now, some characters to look out for in this banner would be Lily. Heinrich is pretty good. Doki Doki. I really love Mio. Messiah is also a very strong AoE damage dealing cleaving character. Defense pen, right? Shadow Sonya is a very solid character for dot teams. Just not as prominent right now because we don't have the problem is we don't have too many damage over time characters right now to where she can be utilized really, really well. But she is a solid character if you want to mess around with putting dots on the bosses. It really does help with clearing PvE bossing content. Really does, because the dots deal a percentage of the enemy's max HP, which is true damage. Very, very nice for bossing content. But every character here is solid and they have their niche. Some being better than others, like Lily, who I don't have, but is the best character arguably in the game right now, alongside Heinrich, who is also arguably the best character in the game alongside Lily right now because of how valuable he is for just every bit of content in the game, PvP, PvE, and just overall story mode too. But that's just this banner. You also do get some free summons throughout the game. I don't know why they decided to call this free summons, maybe just to get you to just roll on the permanent banner only. But in my opinion, the free summon attempts should have just been the standard pools or the permanent pools or the limited time RGB pools to begin with, this type of currency. I don't know why they decided to do this. It's like there is no free daily summon in this game like you would have in Epic 7, right? You're probably familiar with the permanent banner, the Covenant banner, giving you a free summon daily. This game, there is no free summon daily as far as I'm concerned as of right now. Maybe that can change later on down the line, which is a sad part to this game, right? Because maybe you've been spooked by a light and dark character, ML5 in that game, from your free daily summon, and you're maybe expecting to have it in this game because that's honestly one of the best things for free to play, but it's not in this game, and I don't see it being added to this game because they don't really need to, because one of the best things, again, is that you can get a light dark character from this banner when you hit the pity, which is very nice. Now that's it. That's going to be the banners that most of you interact with in this game. Now, for those of you that are a little bit on the spending side, maybe paying players, maybe you're a player that just decides to save up your light and dark pools over time, and you are just chilling. This banner right here, the light and dark standard banner, I want to call it. The reason I call it light and dark standard banner is because there is no guarantee on this banner of the light and dark character you're going to get. So this banner, in my honest opinion, becomes more valuable the more characters you are missing from the light and dark pool, because this banner here guarantees that you get a light and dark character, and the drop rate for light and dark character is a 1%. That of course does have the 80 pool pity, right? And you also have the soft pity for the banner as well. So that is a sort of bonus over the light and dark limited time banner. However, this banner, of course, you're not guaranteed to get the specific character you want, so the 1 in 6 chance of the light and dark character from the banner. So, in my opinion, again, this banner is more valuable the more characters you are missing from the banner. If you are missing, in my honest opinion, I'm gonna be honest with you, if you have 3 or more of the characters on the banner, your chances of getting a dupe goes up exponentially. And in this game, dupes are not as valued whatsoever compared to getting a brand new character. Dupes are not valuable whatsoever. So getting a dupe in this game is not as valuable as it would be in other PvP turn-based gacha games. So again, if you have 3 or more of these light and dark characters, I would not recommend rolling on this banner. I would instead just roll on the light and dark limited time banner, right? And then just wait for the character to either have a light and dark rate of banner. If they do ever have one in the future, either re-roll for that specific light and dark character that you want to obtain, right? To guarantee them. If you are someone who has, like, I mean, I'm not going to tell you re-roll if you already have 3 or more light and dark characters, but you get the gist. You're not guaranteed to get the specific light and dark character. But if you are playing the long game here and you already have like half of the characters owned, I just don't recommend rolling on this banner because it's way too risky. Just wait for the light and dark banner to then pop up and then get that light and dark character. If it ends up being a rerun of a character that is already in the game, like Heinrich, or a character like Lily or Mio, right? Then you would wait for that banner if that ends up being the case. Or if it ends up being a brand new light and dark character, which of course they most likely will add to the other banners in the game once that character does arrive. Or maybe they'll add that character later after their banner goes away and they're added to the other banners. We don't really have that information yet, but it leads me to believe that they will add that character to the permanent and the light and dark banner as soon as that new light and dark character comes out. But who knows what the future may hold. But that's my opinion for rolling for light and dark characters. I wouldn't recommend rolling this banner if you already have half or more of the characters. Instead, just use the pity you have going towards this banner for a like actual guaranteed new light and dark character for your account, right? I wouldn't risk it in my opinion. But that's just me personally. Now, when we make our way to the shop in the game, you can buy more pools for not only the standard banners and the limited time RGB banner, which you get this currency by rolling on the banners. So this is like your starlight, your star crystals, your I don't even know what to call it, but your star glitter. There you go. Your star glitter, not your premium star glitter, but your regular star glitter. This gives you extra pulls that you can then use on a banner, or it gives you stuff like Perfect Lattice, which gives you the skill level increase of your SSR. But you can get these in the game in other ways. In my opinion, what's really valuable here is you're guaranteed, if you then have like the 10 like light and dark pulls, you're guaranteed 10 pulls closer to getting that light and dark character from the banner, which again, for most players, like having more characters is better than having less characters, right? And having these ensure that you are closer to the pity for the light and dark character. It's just really hard to get light and dark characters in this game, aside from like lucking out, because the game doesn't give you too many light and dark pulls. That's just my opinion, right? Do whatever you want with your account, but you can get these from the shop after rolling on the banners and getting 4 stars, 5 stars, SRs, whatever, right? And then last but not least, to do a 10 pull or even a single pull in these banners, and let's say you don't have any of the already like established like pulls in the game, right? You can convert these crystals to a 10 pull or single pull for only the permanent banner currency, right? So you cannot convert your Hydra crystals, which is your game's premium currency, into pulls for the line. You just can't do it. The game doesn't allow you to do that. It's definitely a monetization reason as to why that's the case, but you know, it is what it is, right? We're not gonna really complain about it. There is some crystal supply packs in the shop that does take your Hydra currency. This right here gives you 5 pulls in exchange for 1,200 Hydra crystals. Now, the conversion for these bad boys, the light and dark pulls, is going to be 1 light and dark pool equals 300 Hydra currencies. But you can see here it gives you, you can't convert it, but that is the conversion rate, even though you can't convert the Hydra crystals to these pools. You get 5 pools for the price of 1,200. So that means you get a free pool, what would have been if you were able to use these on the Light and Dark Bane, but you can't. A free pool, and again, there is no real like guaranteed way to obtain these things other than just buying them from various different shops on the game. You get a free pool essentially in that 1,200 Hydra currency spent. And to be honest, it's really valuable because there is no guaranteed way to get these pulls. And there's no telling if this even, I don't believe this actually restocks in the shop. Maybe it does, and that'd be cool. And if it does restock in the shop, there you go. You have a guaranteed way of getting the pulls consistently on seems like a weekly basis, if that's the case. There is also another crystal supply that does give you a 10 pull for the permanent banner or the guaranteed SSR banner of your choice, or the limited time RGB banner if you want to use it on that banner. I already bought mine, and the conversion for the pulls here is 1 pull equals 100 Hydra crystals, and you can see here you have 10 pulls for 800 Hydra crystals. So that means they gave you 2 extra pulls for free from buying this pack, and you also get a bunch of coins too that you can use to upgrade your character's gear and all of that jazz, right? So very valuable pack. There is a guaranteed SSR pull you can get from the 7-day objective bonus. This is going to be for every player in the game. My internet is just, at least where I'm at right now out of town, is just giving me a hard time, so I do apologize about this. I can still, of course, record and talk and all of that. But that SSR pull, like guaranteed, you pull and then boom, you get your SSR, can give you a light and dark from it as well. It is a lower chance compared to the RGB, and I can't show you it because I don't have it on my accounts. You can, of course, pay for this in the game. There is a paid version of this, but you at least get one for free in your 7-day objective for making a new account, right? And again, you can get a light and dark character. It is a lower chance though, but you're guaranteed an SSR after using this ticket. And there is a 4 to 5 star version of this too. So you can pull either a 4-star or 5-star from that ticket. And it also can contain a light and dark character, just a lower chance. And then the SR, the 4-star, has a exponentially higher chance over the RGB and the light and dark characters as well. Here we go. I was looking for it. There is no confirmed way of being able to get this in the game right now for free to play. And I have no idea how they're going to give this out in the future for, of course, free to play or you know, like players that don't spin on the game and low spinners too. I mean, this is a low spinner version of it. But yeah, this currently exists in like Epic 7 as well. So you're guaranteed a 4-star or higher, right? And the chance for a 4-star is exponentially higher than a 5-star. And from this, you can also get a light and dark character. So you can get a 4-star light and dark character, or you can get a 5-star Light and Dark character. But again, as far as I'm concerned, there is no way to obtain this as a free-to-play in the game currently, unless that is a part of the game I have not reached yet, personally. So there you have it. That is going to be Etheria Restart's Gacha in a nutshell. I tried to explain it the best way I could possible, and I thought I did a decent job at it. But of course, let me know in the comment section down below if you have any questions or you are still confused on clarification. Last thing I want to mention is that apparently rerolling has been nerfed in the game. So as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people have been having trouble redeeming codes and all of that, and there hasn't really been any fix as of right now, time of recording. So rerolling is a little bit of a troublesome thing to do right now in the game. And the other thing I want to mention too is that just have fun, right? Even though there is recommended ways of being able to progress through the early game as a free-to-play player, you don't have to partake in any particular way. You can play the game as you want. In my honest opinion, that's where you get the most enjoyment. Well, that's it. That's the video here. Thank you for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. Bye-bye.